Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. It's the second show of the week. Lurch is slinging drones, so he will not be here. We're not. I don't know if we're going to do the thing where we talk about everything and all the complications, because we just said that the people at home don't know there's complications, but there's complications, and it's taken us forever to start recording this podcast. But now we're recording the podcast.
Yeah, your microphone doesn't work. Trent and I are in the studio. I got a little thing going. Let me just drink a little bit of water.
You got a little hitch in your throat. Yeah, we're recording in the studio. So we sound good. Our mics work, obviously, but then the internet in the office, which I'm sure we talked about on the show before, is in and out, which seems crazy for a company that was built on the internet. But I think now that we're hardwired in, we're good to roll. Everybody sounds good.
And the thing is, like, when we're talking to rigs, the internet connection gets all crazy. So for our conversation, it gets all messed up. But to the people listening, the beautiful patrons of Foreplay Podcast are listening to the show. They have no idea that we are not communicating the way that we want to, because everything's being recorded locally. So they're hearing it crystal clear and in motion, motion of the ocean.
You know what else they heard crystal clear on the last episode?
That hellacious seed of gas coming out of Riggs's asshole.
Before you address it, I want to say kudos to you for admitting to it, because I don't know if I would have ever admitted to it. I think I would have gone down with the ship and had like I would have slipped our audio guy $20 and been like, no, it was like the wiring on the microphone. It wasn't me. So kudos to you.
Yeah, well, look, breaking news: people release gas. That's what happens. Humans do that. Women do that. Men do that. But it was a tough break where on our Webex situation, I muted it, and then on the local audio, you actually can't mute it. Like I'm looking right now at the options on the QuickTime, and you just can't. There's nothing to mute. So one could argue that when you send audio to a producer that and they edit a podcast, that maybe they'd edit that out. I don't know. I'm not sure how podcast editing works.
I'm glad he left it in. I'm glad he left it in.
Yeah, he's gonna claim that he's in the content business. He just didn't listen to it and do the job. That's what I would argue. I
got screenshots of me editing the podcast, and I specifically let it in because when Frankie records local on his mic at home, I have to cut every time he doesn't talk because he records mono instead of another way. So that's another thing we have to figure out. But I have screenshots of me specifically leaving the fart in because I heard it.
I don't know what screenshots mean. It's an audio thing. I don't know that it's a screenshot thing. But anyways, it was in there. And that's just, it is what it is. We are in the content business. It's got some play. I muted it. I did all the muting that I could. And it's also should be stated that I tweeted this too. I mean, it was 5 a.m. Like whatever happens pre 7 a.m. that comes out of your body, it's like, there's really not much you can do about it.
That was an early pod for sure.
Yeah. Like when I'm always asleep when it's 5 a.m., but there's probably things coming out of my body that I don't even realize while I'm sleeping. Like that's just the way that it is. People fart. I think that's the main takeaway.
Yeah, I fart.
You do?
Yeah.
Good for you.
All the time.
That's awesome.
All the time.
I mean, you feel better after you do it. It's just part of the morning routine.
You got to do it.
Right. Imagine living in a fartless society. People would be in a bad mood. Their stomach would hurt. There's no shame in it. And,
be a train wreck. Everybody, oh, man. You know how on edge people be all the time if you're just walking around holding them in 24/7? You just explode.
Everything about the whole system is weird,
Of course.
You go and pee, like you just release this liquid out of your dick.
Constantly.
You're peeing into water in these toilets. It's weird. It's a weird thing that our bodies do. We have to release liquid out of our body, like we're like you're popping sangria out of a frozen mixing drink thing in the summer.
I'll tell you what I never saw from the patrons was people saying every time we put out an episode where nobody farted, people being like, congratulations on not farting on that episode. We went 400 episodes without a fart, and then it's 5 a.m. and Riggs farts, and people are all of a sudden like, oh, that's so crazy. We've gone 400 episodes without one, so think about that.
It is a little bit disheartening that people haven't congratulated us. Like every episode that comes out where there's not a ridiculous, preposterous, really loud, gross fart.
We should be
commended for that.
I couldn't believe it.
Right. Going forward, every episode where there's no farts on the podcast, I want a congratulations from the listeners.
Farts are funny until they're gross. That was a gross one.
I don't know. I think
that was a long fart.
I think it was a pretty run of the mill fart.
It had no
Thank you,
uptick.
Trent.
It wasn't
Thank you.
Like it wasn't like an actual funny fart. It was more like a whoa. That was a fart, dude. It was more of like a shart.
No, that's
Yeah,
you cannot
No,
throw those
you
allegations at Riggs. That's crazy
Dude,
that you just put that out
Go back
there.
and listen to that thing. It was wet, man.
No.
Come on, Trent. Come on,
Equating
Trent.
those
That
equating
was not
those
just
things
air.
is crazy.
Fuck,
Now you're
dude.
just trying to be malicious, I would argue.
I'm not trying to be malicious. I listened to it a bunch of times, and each time it got grosser and grosser. It was a gross
Yeah,
fart.
well, you're listening to a fart over and over
Yeah,
again.
but
Of course,
there's-
Right.
There's funny
That's a
farts.
you problem, my
There's
friend.
funny farts.
Thank
you.
you.
Know? That was.
What's
I'm
that say
not-
about you?
I
What's that
fucking
say
fart
about
all
you,
the time.
Mister?
I'm just letting you know. I know the difference between a gross fart and an air fart.
Well,
Funny
you're over there
farts-
binge listening to me farting. That's weird.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
It happened.
It does.
It's not.
It does happen.
It's going to be a while, I would think, or I would hope till it happens again. But it might happen again. Who knows?
Who knows?
Now I'm bummed that I didn't. I wish I wouldn't have muted it anywhere because it would have been better for the show if everyone would have. If it would
Definitely.
have just been part of the show.
This is going to sound strange, but I meant to go back and watch the YouTube version of the podcast to see if you reacted, because that would be the telltale sign. If you didn't admit to it, people would be watching that film over and over again to see who had like a reaction. So I'm actually going to do that once we get done here to see if you tried to keep it together, or if you lifted a cheek. I'll have to go back and study the film.
I didn't even think about the YouTube aspect of it, but that makes me happier that I admitted it on Twitter because I don't think I have a very good poker face. So I'm sure people can just stop it at the moment and be, yeah, that we can just see what happened. But yeah, I'm glad we addressed that, and we're in the content business, so it is what it is. If we do a pre-7 a.m. podcast again, then that might happen. That just might be an occurrence, and
That's
there's
the
nothing I
human
can do
body,
about it.
folks.
That's right. Owens, we'll go right into Owens. Been a really beautiful, delicious start to the podcast, I would say, and you can get yourself. It's Thursday, so it's a little Transfusion Thursday. Owens Mixers, Barstool Transfusion. It's fantastic. It's just really refreshing. It's a really good cocktail to have. We're all looking for new drinks. We're all looking for better drinks. That's why when you throw a little recommendation at somebody, they usually latch on. They usually tweet within 5 minutes that they're trying that concoction because everybody wants a new drink. Get on the transfusion train, go to Owens, get Owens on Amazon, go to your local retailer. They got them in Kroger's. They got them all over CVS's. I've noticed they've got them at now. So get yourself some Owens, order it to your house, mix it up with your favorite liquor of choice, make an awesome cocktail. Owens is really good. And you guys do Owens meet and greet. So it's, we're just Owens all over.
Watch parties.
Watch party.
I've become quite the watch party aficionado.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I do now is watch parties. We watch things together with fans and people and friends. I watch.
Well, it's
things.
interesting because before our last show, we sort of had to kind of predict the future or say things that were going to, make a little bit of sense in the future, depending on how the weekend went. I would argue, or I would say that the weekend went about as well, really, as it could have gone for, if you're up 2-0, great. But for us and just our podcasts and the content and the reactions, what a phenomenal start to the series.
Phenomenal start, Boston Islanders. It's a war zone. Borelli's has turned into a jungle gym. I never really quite seen a restaurant turn into what it's turned into. Unfortunately, we are now going up to Boston because, to make things a little fair. It is crazy that Feidelberg Marina and Grinelli had to just go into what was louder than most stadiums for, their team's home game. So I'll have to get a little bit of that in Boston. So it's going to hurt me to not be at the Coliseum, though. Are
you bummed? Were you rattled about that?
I was rattled, yeah. And Big Cat in, what was that, 2016 or whatever it was, 2017 when the Cubs won the World Series. He had to watch it in New York City with just people in the office. That's brutal to not be at Wrigley Field there for a 100-year drought World Series win. So he kind of set the precedent of that, where it's like you can't really complain when you don't go to home games. You got to do the work. But yeah, it's tough. Like if I didn't show the initiative to do streams and be an Islander fan, like if I wasn't a public Islander fan, I'd just be enjoying the game on Thursday with my dad at the Coliseum. But because now the streams are so crazy, I am no longer allowed to go to the Coliseum. It's kind of backwards in that way, but that's Barstool. It's content. You got to do the job.
I will say, and it's better for the whole world that you do the job and that you go crazy with the Islanders. People tweet at me occasionally about the Blues. And I now, when I watch Blues games, I don't tweet about it at all. I don't tweet a single word about it. I just sit on my fucking couch and I put my phone down and I just watch the Blues and text my buddies about it, and it's awesome.
Yeah. It's tough.
The streams are great, though.
The streams are.
They really are.
and you know they've always been great. And people are saying that in the COVID world, they didn't know if they'd ever come back. Like there's been, you know, not really like live sports and people getting together again. Like you just didn't know when it was going to come back. And the old days of Dave and the electric chairs were just so electric. Like not to use that word a million times, but when we were in that old office,
electric? Was the electric chair
like
electric?
KFC and the Connor Gillespie home run. There are so many moments with Dave, KFC, and Big Cat that the electric and Dave with Michigan, like. That was such a beautiful, like, revolutionary thing for people to watch a fan react whenever they wanted to. Double screen watching, you watch the game, and then you also 35, 40 seconds later get to watch the game. So for us to be able to recreate that at Borelli's, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
just fucking awesome.
Yeah, and as a guy, I don't care about the Islanders or the Bruins or what happens in that series, but it is nice just seeing people gathering again. Like Borelli's is packed to the gills with people going crazy. You were crowd surfing in Borelli's a year ago. Nobody could go outside, and everything was shutting down.
I remember.
So it's just like cool to see.
I remember walking through Borelli's. We were doing a bunch of food at the time. I remember we had like kind of an assembly line in the back room of all workers getting pizzas together and boxes. We were bringing them to hospitals for. Nurses at the time, we were just bringing food every day to a different hospital for nurses and doctors and frontline workers and first responders and all these people. And I remember like that was just the business. And I was like, and all the lights were down and like the light was coming through the windows and all the chairs were up and the restaurant just turned into like this like mopey factory place. And I was like, and it was around like when hockey should have been playing. And I was like, man, this place used to be fucking packed with Islander jerseys and people cheersing wine and fucking beers were getting thrown around and music was playing. And I remember legitimately being like, holy shit, this is never going to happen again. We will never look around this restaurant ever again and see that. And I took that same look around the other night, like in the same spot, and the place was going fucking crazy. People were jumping around, Stu Feiner screaming. The bar had 400 people in it. The outside, dude, we have an outdoor patio that we built. We didn't even know people were out there. There was 200 people out there watching on a little screen, legitimately going crazy in the parking lot, tailgating. It was just so cool. It's not just about the hockey. It's not just about Barstool. It's more about just like the world in general, like coming back. It was like a coming back party. And I think everyone's just excited to be around people.
I agree.
And you throw a win in the mix, and it was just mayhem. It was pandemonium.
I 100% agree. And it was the same kind of feeling, obviously different environments, but same kind of feeling, the 72nd hole of the PGA Championship, where it was like it was pandemonium, and that was dangerous, and they probably won't allow that ever again. But it was like, man, there's a crowd. They're watching sports. They're excited. It feels relatively normal, which is exciting, and everybody wants that. Everybody's been rooting for that for over a year now. One of the best parts about the clip, the OT game-winning clip, was just the pause. I know everybody, like the dead silence for a second and a half or 2 seconds before the breakaway goal and everybody erupts. You just don't get that in hockey that often. Like you get that in baseball when it's like the stage is set. You know, it's like a 3-2 count. It's 2 outs. It's like quiet, and then you get it. You get it in football. It's like 4th and goal, and it's the last chance. Everybody knows it's coming. Hockey's fucking chaotic. It's like a deflection or a rebound randomly, and people go crazy. You don't get it very often when it's like, oh, fuck, this is a moment. Like, we get a second or two to prepare for this moment. Yeah. Everybody was dead silent in Borelli's and then just went crazy. And that clip it gave me chills. I had like chills down my spine at that clip, and I had zero connection to either team whatsoever.
That clip went everywhere too. Scott Van Pelt was talking about it. It was on ESPN. It was on Newsday. It was all over. It was all over the place. And yeah, you could see the reaction when Cizikas steals the puck, when the puck goes to him. So everyone's going crazy. And then as he's stick handling, he does 1 or 2 moves. Everyone the human body can no longer make noise for that second because you have to lock in on if that's going in. And once you see the net move, you just release everything. No more stress. It's just let's party. It's such a cool fucking feeling. It's the best. And I saw people being like, you know, too early to crowd surf and too early. What'd you guys win a Stanley Cup championship? And it's about the ride, man. We talk about that all the time. It's the journey. Like, why want to be a part of this thing if you're just going to be like, ho hum, thanks for the win? Like, I don't ever want to not celebrate a fucking playoff win, because how many more are you going to get? Look at the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs. The team hasn't won a first round playoff series in like 25 years. I mean, come on. You have to celebrate every chance you get.
It literally is the ride. That is like when you when you win, it's like maybe a day or so of celebrating, and then you get to chirp people on Twitter for a few months. But when it's over, and you actually accomplish the thing, it's not even as cool as the parts during the process when you actually accomplish them. Like it's when you think about like when we watch a Tiger, like when he won the Masters, and it's like he all of a sudden starts making a couple birdies in the back nine, or Molinari hit it in the water. It was like those are the moments when you actually go crazy. When he wins, it's like you kind of release, you hug people, it's cool. But that process the whole time, if you're not going fucking crazy over every single moment, then you're going to miss out, because like you said, you might never get that again. So yeah, anybody saying that, they're just losers. Like they're just upset losers that
They're
say
emotionless
that chirp at
losers. Imagine being in Borelli's that night and not fucking going bananas if you're an Islanders
just being
fan.
like, oh, what a
just
goal.
shaking hands,
Just
like shook people's hands, like, oh yeah, good.
Hey, what a great goal. Thank you very much.
good.
Yeah,
It was so
appreciate
good.
it. I'll see you later. Yeah. Oh, I've been here before. Act like you've been there before. Hey, man, I've actually been here before, so let me just shake your hand real quick, and we'll all just we'll sip tea, and then we'll have a nice water, and then we'll all go home. No, I was funneling fucking Four Locos out of people's assholes that night. Like, it was as crazy as it could possibly get.
I'm sure you have no regrets about any of your reactions, and you shouldn't, but it went a little bit too well, because now you got to go to Boston. Like, it wasn't fair for Marina, Feidelberg, and Grinnell in that atmosphere, and now as the Islanders come back to Long Island, you are on a train to Boston to be in a Boston bar watching with Boston fans. So, I mean, no regrets, obviously, but now you just got to go into the Lions' den.
Yeah. Original plan was all 7 games from Borelli's. We thought it was just going to be like, the original setup's just me and my dad. It's been like that for 2 years in the back room of Borelli's. Got the Manja sign in the back room, and it's just us two. So it's nothing crazy. So Dave thought it'd be a funny, like, visual of everyone in there. Little did we know that there would be 1,000 people in Game 2, like, surrounding the Bruins fans. So yeah, unfortunately, it was too good. So now we have to level the playing field. The Islander psychopath in me wants to cry that the Islanders are heading to the Coliseum and I am boarding a train going up to Boston. That's something I don't know that I can even handle or accept. I will accept it. I will do it I'll do my duty. I'll do my job. What I need from the Islanders is a win. I cannot let the last game at the Nassau Coliseum happen while I'm in a Boston bar. Cannot. Because the Coliseum is done after these playoffs. We're going to Belmont next year. And that's my home. That's a place that I don't even know how to describe in words what that place means to me. So, yeah, it is. It's fun though.
Your company guy.
You were the way you spiked Grinelli's hat in that one clip was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I think. I know that you got fucked by a lot of people seeing that clip before they saw the clip of him throwing your hat off.
That pissed me off because
so you got fucked on that. You got big time fucked on that. But the way that
I launched it.
It was just so funny.
But dude, he's a fucking physical sport viewer, and I've watched sports with a lot of people, and I've gone to 1 million games, and my first instinct's never to like punch the guy next to me or grab the person's hat or put him in a headlock. Grinelli, I love the kid. He's fucking awesome. He shows just as much passion as I do about the Bruins. He's a great dude. He did party with the Blues for 2 minutes after they won the Stanley Cup and beat the Bruins, which is a tough look. But he legitimately, first instinct after the first goal of the series, put me in a headlock, took my hat and tossed it in the restaurant. It's like, oh, now, dude, this is game 1, goal 1. Like, where are we going to go from here? And then goal 2, he threw my hat into the fucking kitchen. So it's like, now when I tie up the game, my team ties up the game, I have to launch your hat into another orbit. I have to. And so, yeah, I'm bruised on my arm. It's crazy. I've got bruises. I was wondering the other day, why can't I lift up this fucking like bottle? And I can't lift up my shoulder.
No, you're right. It's like if the first shot of a battle, they just send a nuclear missile at the other side. It'd be like, well, what are we gonna do here? Right. You don't really have much of a choice. So, good luck up in Boston, Frankie. It's crazy up in Boston, man. Those people. I think they're going to be out for blood too, based on that scene that we just saw.
I just hope people are like I hope I can stay alive. Is my point. Like, I want to just be able to watch the game because people were very, very conscious of like Marina, Feidelberg, Grinelli, at Borelli's. They were very like crazy, but no one got out of line. I think people are going to try and step over the line because I'm the fucking under guy that had a lot of fun at Borelli's and they're going to show me what a good time is. I'm already getting DMs like, watch your back and Southie, bro. It's like, all right.
Hopefully,
I don't want any of that.
Hopefully none of that happens. And it's like when we were talking about on the pod last week where we're stunned that golf fans, like it's a crazy atmosphere at the PGA Championship. It's crazy that like nobody yells or screams or kicks the ball off the tee. Hopefully it's the same in Boston for the hockey games. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's going crazy, but nobody crosses the line. Just, just have a good time.
Let's just watch a hockey game.
Yep.
Good luck, Frankie. The Bushnell Wingman. So, look, this is the best item, I would say, especially like gift-wise. I know it's Father's Day's coming up, summertime. One of the best items, one of the best new technology items in golf in a long time is the Bushnell Wingman. Puppy's got phenomenal sound value, so much so that it's just what we use when we have like house parties and stuff. You just use your Bushnell Wingman. And then it's got audio GPS. So it's got this little button on top that you just pop off and you hit the button and it just tells you the distance to the front, to the middle, to the back of the green. You sync it up to the Bushnell app, gives you the bird's eye view of the hole so you can see where there's water or where there's trees or where it dog legs. You can just click onto the little screen on your phone there on the app, and it'll just show you exactly where the dog leg starts. You can put it anywhere. You want to go to this part of the green. Maybe the pin looks like it's over in the back left, so you just move the little dot to the back left, and it shows you the exact yardage. So the Bushnell Wingman, this thing, again, is fantastic. I don't know that I'll ever play another round of golf without it, fellas.
It's as good as it gets. I brought it to that member guest I was telling you guys about last show.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the ultimate, like, look what I got. Look how cool this piece of technology is. Oh, you guys want to listen to some tunes? Do you want the yardage to the back of the pin, to the back of the green? You got everything right there in your pocket. You press that little button. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't understand why it's telling yardages. You know what I mean? Like, you're not pressing anything. It just knows because it's in your pocket. You kind of just hit that button.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a cool fucking piece of technology, man. And the music, I don't want to let that go by the wayside. The music is maybe the best part. You know what I mean? The sound quality is unbelievable. It's so loud, too loud at times on the golf course.
The magnet is amazing too. The bite magnet, it's got 12 pounds of full force. You just slap that puppy onto the cart, the little bar on the cart, and it stays there forever, no matter what. I think an earthquake comes through, that puppy doesn't fall off. And then it's got 10 hours, up to 10 hours of battery life on a single charge, so it's going to last you all day on the course. So go to bushnellgolf.com/Fore, order your Wingman Golf Speaker today. That's bushnellgolf.com/Fore. The Trent Breaking 100 series, the episode 1 came out last night. I would say, I think we all had very high expectations for this series. And this video blew away my expectations, just the whole thing. Trent's amazing, and you stretching is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You genuinely like wanting to get better, but also kind of fighting the fact that wait, I got to stretch and I'm just sore. I got to go through all that. I don't want to kill these people on the right side of the range. Juxtapositioned against John Tillery, who is, a top 50 instructor in the country. Ricky Fowler's coach, Kevin Kisner's coach. He's got signed pin flags everywhere from his guys that have won huge tournaments. The whole thing is amazing. I think it's up at 100,000 views already in like 12 hours. So clearly people are loving it. But man, the Trent Breaking 100 series, I hope you never break 100. No offense, but for the series' sake, like I wanted this series to last forever because it is, for any golf fan, it is the most just like endearing and joyful. It's a very much an enjoyable watch.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy how it came out. Shout out to Jake. We went down to Georgia like a month ago, filmed a lot of footage, and he's been cutting that down for the last couple of weeks. So shout out to him. Shout out to John Tillery. I honestly can't say enough about him. I think it showed through in the video. He's just a great guy, and he was the perfect fit for what we were trying to do. He welcomed us in, and he was like, took a look at my swing, and we got to work. The stretching was hard. Watching that back, I probably need to stretch more. That's the thing too, is this really, like, I went down there, I got this lesson, but it doesn't end there. Like, you have to continue to stretch, you have to continue to work, you have to play, you have to practice, you have to do all those things. But people seem to like the video. It was a long episode. We wanted to have my entire Georgia trip in one episode. We didn't really want to space them out. I know people eventually want to see me attempt to break 100, so that I think is coming next week. But the Georgia trip was great. Like I said, the video came out great. I'm glad people like it. It's going to be a journey. Riggs, you say you don't want me to break 100 for a long time or ever. It's going to be a little bit. We're trying, we're tweaking. But I was texting with John Tillery last night. We're not going to stop working. We're going to keep trying. But I'm glad people like the video, because I, just like anything else, like I always get very nervous when videos like this come out. Like when we do 4-man scrambles or when we do travel series, it's all 4 of us. And that takes, like, you can spread out how nervous or anxious you are about how a certain video came out. But this one is very solely focused on me. So I was nervous about it, but I knew we got good stuff down in Georgia. And again, shout out to Jake for taking all the best parts, putting it in the video. And, you know, we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep trying.
Yeah, not an easy edit. So shout out to Jake. That is a lot of footage. And also to be able to be so informative and funny in the same video, that's really what you're trying to do right there. I mean, it's a hilarious but also very informative piece of content. And I think it's just going to keep getting like that. So we already filmed him trying to break 100. That will be the next episode. And then who knows where it goes from there, right? Like, I agree with Riggs where I want you to continuously not break 100. When
I got my own guys rooting against me.
It's just
no,
like,
it's for you. It's for your stardom. I root for your stardom to rise higher than your golf ability.
Okay.
Currently.
because I want you to be able to like rekindle with John Tillery and like, all right, we've played a couple rounds and we haven't broken 100. Where are we going to go from here? What am I doing wrong? What has left my body from the day that I was with you in Georgia? You know what I mean? So people are now on this journey. You could tell on social media, everyone was loving it. People on YouTube were loving it. It is just a very good storyline to follow if you are a golf fan, because everyone can relate. Everyone at one point has been trying to break 100, or even if it's not 100, if you're sitting at home trying to break 80 or 70 or whatever level you are at golf, you can relate to the struggle that is getting over that final leap, or no, that final hurdle. Leap over that final hurdle.
Yeah, and it was funny watching it back.
Hump is another one. People
I was
say
already
hump.
like
I'm a hump.
I was learning watching my own video, if that makes any sense, because he told me so much when I was down there, and I got the main parts of it, and I'm able to practice, like, you know, shadow swings in my apartment. But watching it back, even I was learning things while I was being taught them on YouTube. So it is, and I got a lot of people reaching out being like, this was very informative. I'm trying to break 100 too. So yeah, we're all kind of in this together. So I do need to go at some point back down and see John Tillery, because first of all, I want to see him again. And I also need to learn more about my golf swing. So I think that will happen at some point.
Stretching, man. It's like bending a bowling ball. It's something that, you know, it's just you tried to fucking take this thing and just move it around, and it was very fun.
I wasn't ready for it. I told him, I said, like, hey, let's do some stretching. Like, that could be maybe good for the video. And he's just like, all right, then let's do it. And I was so tired, and I was already sore from the day before. And then he's got me, you know, trying to crawl across his little area there, and he's shoving me up against walls. It was very funny, and it was very painful, but I got to keep at it.
How good is Waffle House?
It's phenomenal. It's truly phenomenal.
Frankie, are you a Waffle House guy?
I don't know if there's a better bang for your buck.
Most certainly not.
Right? It's like what, $5 or $6 or something like that.
I think the All-Star special is $9.
Yeah.
The best part about Waffle House is that it continuously, every time you go, you get the same thing, and it's a different price every single time.
Right. Yeah, it is a different price. We've been in different states where they've been completely different prices.
I said this in the video, and I stand by it, that I understand that it's a southern, like, institution. Like, you get past a certain part, and then there's Waffle Houses everywhere. I just want them everywhere. I'm sick of it. I think the same thing about In-N-Out. Like, if people think it's so good, just let it spread across the country. Why are we stopping people from enjoying this delicious food? Because Waffle House legitimately has the best waffles in the world. Like, every place I go to get a waffle around here, it's the Belgian waffle, where it's the thick. It's just not the same as the Waffle House, so they should just be everywhere. I think people will be against that, but they just need to be all across the country.
I'm very much for that, and you know what we get instead is we get IHOP. That's everywhere. That's kind of the breakfast, national chain. And I'm sorry, IHOP doesn't hold a candle to Waffle House. Not even fucking close, in my opinion. So, Waffle House, and it's it's gritty a little bit, no pun intended there. It's like a gritty spot, but yet delicious, right? Like it's not like you're going to some cheap place and you get kind of cheap shit food. Like, it's Waffle House, so you get that environment, and there's people from all walks of life in there a lot of the times, but the food is just delicious. Like, they make really good breakfast. They make it in front of you, so it's got that open vibe. It's just nice to hit a Waffle House. We used to go, man, me and my parents, we would do Waffle House like every fucking weekend. We would go on like Saturday or Sunday morning when I was in probably my early like teens. We go to Waffle House and get the all-American slam, maybe mix in like add a waffle, extra waffle or two. They just deliver at Waffle House.
They've
So I was
got
glad
them in
to see that you
Missouri.
hit Waffle.
They have Waffle House
Oh,
in
yeah.
Missouri.
Got them all over the place. We
I'm
love,
jealous.
you know, Midwest, man. We love like, well, just food in general, but like junk food, Waffle House type food, all Golden Corral. Those fuckers are everywhere.
Yep.
We love that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm jealous because I'm also from the Midwest, but I'm a little more north, and there were 0 Waffle Houses around me, which is a real tragedy.
Really? I didn't know that.
None,
That's,
not a single one. It's all IHOPs and Casey's General Store and just places like that. Red Lobster, Chili's.
Red Lobster must have been a night out.
Bro, we used to go to Red Lobster all the time. Endless Shrimp.
Endless shrimp, yeah.
Me and my buddies
Felt
went
like
one
a
time
shot.
for Endless Shrimp to see if we could eat 100 shrimp each.
Those the peel away ones or no?
No, it was popcorn shrimp.
Okay.
We ate 100.
You guys ever
I
had-
actually have nothing against Red Lobster. I think Red Lobster is quite a delicious meal.
I've said this before, that there's a reason there's a million of these places. There's a
Yeah.
million Red Lobsters. There's a million Chili's.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're a chain and people enjoy them. People look down. I never like to generalize with a broad brush, but the coast loved, especially the East Coast, loves to look down on you
real
guys. On
restaurants
us.
out here. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a difference, dude. Like, here's a perfect example. We went to, well, it's not gonna be perfect because I can't remember the fucking name. Oh, On the Border. I think it's a
Imperfect example.
I think it's a sorry. I think that's a pretty big. Maybe not. Maybe it's a
I don't know On the Border.
or like a Kazi Mel's. Oh, there's places. Maybe these are that's a
you're-
chain, right?
0 for 2 for me
Okay,
at least.
so Kazi Mel's is a chain. So you go to this like Mexican place, Mexican food, and that should be like the best food ever, right? Like it's easy. It's rice. It's like maybe a fajita with shrimp and steak. But like the type of shrimp and steak you get is just like a Chili's type of shrimp and steak. It's not. Then you go to like a homemade like mom and pop Mexican food place on Long Island or anywhere, Austin, any place that will have that, and you're like, holy shit, this is so much better. That's why there is that like elitist thought of not wanting to go to a Chili's, a Fridays, a whatever, all these other places, because you can just get a better meal at a similar place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. Local
Maybe
places.
if you're in a place where those other places don't exist, then that's the only option you have.
No, I mean, there's local Mexican spots in where I'm from and stuff like that. But, like, I don't see it's not necessary to shit on those other places
No, but like if
to
you're
feel
going
better
to
about the local places.
No, but but see, I think you're taking it in like a I want to defend chain business way. Like,
That's what I'm
taking it on like there's just better meals. If you're going to choose two restaurants, one just has legitimately better food than the other. Because one's just like mass produced. It's like the same reason like if you're going to microwave food or you're going to cook it fresh, it just tastes better. One's mass produced. They send out packets of like how they want their shrimp and how they want their steak and how they want their bread. Yeah, it probably tastes good. I like it. Like I go to Texas Roadhouse, I fucking love their bread, man. But like if you're gonna get a steak, you're gonna go to like the local fucking steakhouse that probably just like spends more money on their meat.
Feels like you're a little biased.
Come on, I'm not biased at all. I'm
What do
saying
you-
I
Well,
like
that
the
does
food.
feel
that-
like you might have a connection
I
to.
Right.
do like the other food. Like
What do you think of Olive Garden as a?
Olive Garden's a fucking joke. but if
As soon as we got to his family's food type, he was like, "Wow, that place."
well,
Olive
if you're in a
Garden
place
fucking
where Olive
sucks."
Garden's the only option, I 100% agree that like that's where you're gonna go. But I mean, you're gonna choose Olive Garden over like fucking Borelli. I mean, come on. Yeah, they have good breadsticks.
Not
I've
gonna
eaten at
say
Olive Garden
anything
before.
on
I've
that.
eaten
I'm
at
not-
Olive
no,
Garden
I-
before.
Yeah,
love
I've eaten at
Borelli's.
Borelli's. I love Borelli's.
I'm not opposed to big business and fucking and all these chains. I'm not. I mean, Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow on Long Island is like chain galore. You got Sonic, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. I mean, I hit that in a day, all of them. I go from stop to stop to stop. That's just how I am. But I also love, if I'm going to choose a fucking meal, I'm not going to go to Chili's. I'm going to go to a fucking, you know what I mean? I'm going to go to a real restaurant.
Is there
Yeah,
an
I think
Olive Garden
sometimes-
close to Borelli's?
Yes.
How close?
Probably like a mile or so in Garden City.
You ever
That's
throw a
pretty
brick
close.
through their window?
No. They're always packed. They're actually right next to this place, Bocce, which is also always packed. Yeah, people fucking love Olive Garden. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know how we got here, but here we are.
I'm not against it. I enjoy it. Texas Roadhouse is maybe my favorite one.
Oh, those that butter.
That fucking bread, man.
They bring it with the bread.
With that cinnamon butter.
Cinnamon butter. That's what I was thinking of.
Yikes!
Some people like the environment. Some places deliver a good environment.
You know what?
You always know what you're gonna get.
This doesn't local or chain whatever. I need more places where you can throw peanut shells on the ground.
Texas Roadhouse.
I feel like, but I'm not even sure if that's every one. I think those places are disappearing.
Can we talk about peanuts for a second?
Yeah.
Can we talk about real peanuts for a second?
I feel like I know what you're going to talk about here.
We were at the PGA Championship in Kiawah Island. Trent and I went to a place called the Tattooed Moose.
It was awesome.
We talked about this a little bit on the podcast. We spent fucking 2 hours trying to find food on that fucking island. Every place closed, even on championship week at like 8:30. It was unbelievable. Never in my life seen anything like this. You had to drive all the way to Charleston just to get a piece of fucking steak. It was insane. You couldn't find any food. Everything closed. Finally, we're in a McDonald's parking lot, about to go into McDonald's, into the drive-thru, and I finally search like one last chance. Let me see what's open. We find this place called the Tattooed Moose. I'm like, dude, this place looks kind of sketchy. Like from the pictures on the outside, I'm like, I don't know if we should go here. There was like wood. Like, it looked like someone's cabin. I'm like, I don't know what this place is. Trent goes, let's go try it. We pull in. Place is fucking awesome. Huge, like, garage door type cabin place. Everyone signed their signatures on the walls. We're eating. We haven't talked about this yet on the podcast, right?
I don't think so, no.
So we're eating. Everyone can sign the walls, and we're eating a great meal. We have great drinks. They have live music. The whole thing's fucking awesome. They have this thing on the menu called boiled peanuts. And I'm like, well, now what the fuck are these things? They were like... The first night we went, they were sold out. We went twice. The first night we went, they were sold out. So I'm like, these things must be the bee's knees.
Right.
The second night we go, I said, do you have any of those boiled peanuts? The lady goes, let me go check. That's how fucking popular these things are. She goes, we have the boiled peanuts. I said, bring them out right now. I love peanuts. I love cracking them. I love sucking on them. I love chewing on them. I love everything about salt. As you can see from my fat fucking face, I love salt. My sodium level is through the fucking roof from the feet up. Probably the feet off soon. So, a little diabetes joke.
No, I got it.
So, but that's sugar, right? So
probably too much of anything.
Yeah. So she brings these things out, and they're soaking fucking wet. Riggs,
have you had boiled peanuts?
No, I'm not a huge peanuts guy.
They are soaking wet, and they're hot, and they're like, it looks like they just got boiled, which they were. And I'm like, well, so you start grabbing onto them, and there's like moisture coming out of them and liquid, and you try and crack open a peanut. You're like thinking, oh, I'm gonna eat these salty peanuts, and they're mush. They fall in your hand. You can't even eat them. I had to ask the waitress, how do you eat these things? Do you eat the fucking shell?
She said some people do, and the consistency for people who haven't had boiled peanuts before, it's like a bean. Like there's no crunch, there's no nothing. They're just soaked, soft beans in the form of peanuts. It was odd.
I've got a one-word review for boiled peanuts, and this is going to send a tizzy around the South. Apparently, that's a Southern delicacy. Boiled peanuts.
At Alabama, like you could go to like a Chevron and you could get boiled peanuts. That's what everyone eats.
My one-word review for it is yuck.
They were not good. I did not enjoy them.
Disgusting. I couldn't, and this is nothing against the Tattooed Moose. We fucking love the Tattooed Moose. Shout out to those people.
Seriously.
What a great place.
Great name.
Gotta take the boiled peanuts off the menu. Gotta.
The vibe at Tattooed Moose was one of the best vibes I've ever seen in a restaurant or felt in a restaurant.
They came up to Trent and I said, would you guys like some ice cream? What do you think this fucking crew said? Right out of a nice soft serve machine that you can see from your seat. You walk over there, they give you a twist, maybe an ice cream cone. You had an ice cream cone. I had an ice cream cone.
Yeah, you did too.
Wow.
There's a there's a bunch of ice cream here at the U.S. Women's Open, and I was like the only person in the dining, so I must have ate 4 ice cream bars yesterday.
Wow. One thing the PGA Championship did not have was an ice cream.
Stunning.
Section. They did have like fresh homemade cheesecake though.
Oh yeah, that was good.
You have to have ice cream. You also have to have New Amsterdam Vodka. New Amsterdam Vodka, by the way, if you didn't know, it's the official vodka of Barstool Sports, and our very own Mr. Frank Borelli and his father are in a New Amsterdam Vodka commercial.
Still running. The other night, so my dad likes to do this now during the watch parties, whenever it comes on, because it comes on during the game. He gets everyone to watch the screen, and then when we pop up on the screen, the place goes fucking bonkers. And it happened in Charleston.
Yep.
But this time, the other night, we weren't on stream because it was during a intermission, And my dad did it, and I'm telling you, all 400 people, people were throwing napkins up in the air because we were on the screen. So it's fucking awesome. Shout out to New Amsterdam Vodka. It's just a good vodka. I now know, and I said this last show, I now know just like what to order, you know?
Which is big.
You know, you want a transfusion? Oh, what kind of vodka do you want? Can I have some New Amsterdam, please? And they're everywhere. Official sponsor of Barstool Sports, official vodka of the NHL. I mean, official vodka of Borelli's Restaurant. It's easy.
New Amsterdam, so they're a premium 80 proof vodka made from some of the finest quality grains from America's heartland, which we've been talking about a little bit. It's 5 times distilled for unparalleled smoothness, then filtered 3 times for a clean, crisp finish. So go check out New Amsterdam vodka. You know, get some of that in your system, get some of that in your cocktails. It's going to be good for you, and it's the official vodka of Barstool Sports, and Frankie and his dad are in a commercial people go crazy for. All right, U.S. Women's Open. I'm up here. I'm going to be here for a few days. Then I got to get out of town as we've got more Barstool Classic stops. But Olympic Club, really hard golf course. The general consensus around here. So the rough is ridiculous around here. It wasn't like that when we were here. It wasn't easy, but it was nowhere near what it is now. You know, a few players I've talked to said they can't hit 7-iron out of the rough. Like you got to hit 8-iron or lower out of this rough. So the women are very accurate. They hit a lot of fairways, but when they do miss them, they're going to be fucked this week. I heard a few, numbers being thrown around yesterday that, I think I was told if you shoot 2 over each day, which means you'd finish around 8 over par for the tournament, that you'd finish top 10. So the scoring is anticipated to be brutal. It's cold. It's like 50-something degrees and cloudy with a marine layer. At least it was all day yesterday, so the ball's not going anywhere. But Olympic's going to present really, really awesome. That 18th hole is still maybe one of the coolest finishing holes I've ever seen in my entire life with the bunkering and the clubhouse and everything else. So U.S. Women's Open is all week, this week, Thursday through Sunday. It's the biggest championship that they have in the game. I got caught last night. There was a little cocktail reception. I was out there with our boy Craig Annis. I got caught twice. I said tournament, not championship. They corrected me and said championship. But overall, it's going to be sweet to watch. It's major golf. You got the Memorial going on as well, so there's a huge weekend for watching golf this weekend. The Corda sisters I saw, they're ranked 4th. Natalie's ranked 4th. I believe Jessica's ranked 11th in the world, and they're the 2 highest ranked players without major championships. And then their brother is at the French Open, Seb, who's like 19 or 20 years old. He just won on the ATP a few weeks ago. So there's a lot of kind of hoopla going on around the Corda family, obviously. Their father, I believe, is an Australian Open champion, and we don't have Lurch here, who's our tennis expert. But there's, a lot of major championship kind of action, hoopla, chatter going on amongst that family. And yeah, it'll just be really fun to watch. I'm excited to be out
the
here. The
Corda parents, I'm thinking about them and how proud they are of their kids in comparison to my parents. Like they have, their kids are very accomplished clearly, and then like I'm sitting here. My parents are like, "What's he even doing over there? What does he do?" It's just, it's fun to think about. No, I don't know about fun, but like
there's a lot of families out there that are just like super successful.
Right.
Parents, kids, grandchildren, it's just a plethora. It's a bloodline of just success. I mean, on a non-professional level, I think I've talked about this. My godparents, they're just the perfect family, and every time I've ever done anything wrong in my life, it's like, well, why is Peter and Anne-Marie doing this over here?
Right.
You know what I mean? They just were perfect, beautiful, successful, Cornell, the whole thing. Like everything about it was just, they are perfect. And we're not. Well, why are they fucking doing that over there? This is normal. I'm normal. I'm the normal one. You mess up. You get fat.
You don't graduate college.
You don't grow up with chiseled abs and a beautiful smile and the perfect hair and the perfect wife and everything. No.
But there are families like that.
They're perfect.
And we're just not those.
It's amazing that their shortcoming is like the parents are like, are these girls going to win a fucking major championship or what are we like, what are they doing here?
They're both ranked in the top 15. Why haven't they won a major yet? Like what's happening?
That's what it's like. It's awkward at Thanksgiving because they're like, are you guys not going to kind of carry the family line here and get a major? What are we? And then the rest of us, it's like, you got arrested again? Like, what is that?
Our parents are like, why did you guys start a podcast talking about farts for 15 minutes? Like, why? What are you guys doing with your lives?
Like,
Olympic
boy,
is hard.
That embarrassing.
I want people to know, because the order of the videos that they're coming out, I want people to know that I had not seen John Tillery before I played that round of golf, and it was one of the most frustrating rounds of golf I've ever played. That's a very hard golf course. I had my old swing, and I honestly at that point, because I knew I was going to see John Tillery at that point, I was just so fucking sick of my swing, and I was so tired of being so bad that I was fed up with the whole thing. So thinking about Olympic now that the rough is up, that place is just so hard. So I kudos to anybody who plays well out there this weekend.
Riggs, what yardage are they playing it from?
About 6,400 yards, which I think is maybe 100 or 200 yards shorter than we played it. So it's very similar.
It's still crazy impressive that like they can even shoot close to par from that yardage, because it does at that point 64. I thought you were gonna say like 58 or 59, 6,000. Like 6,400 yards is just what every guy goes out and plays at their local golf course.
Yep.
And these girls are legitimately firing darts at the hardest greens that we've ever seen.
Yes, and they're going to be doing it with narrow-ass fairways, rough that is quite literally unplayable. Like the rough, we wouldn't. Yeah, I was chatting with Christy Kerr last night, who's a U.S. Open winner, and she's like, yeah, the 7-iron, like we tried to hit 7-irons out of it, and the 7-iron just ducks back into the rough and doesn't go anywhere. So 8-iron's about like what we can get out of it, and it's just like, yeah, that's the maximum that you can hit out of this stuff is maybe an 8-iron if you have like a decent line. And there will be spots where somebody gets a good line. They can hit it out, with a little different club. I think one person said they brought a 7-wood just to be able to hack like these little cut like runners out of the rough. So there'll be spots, I'm sure, where somebody draws a decent line, they can actually advance it. But for the most part, you're going to see chip outs. You're going to see, just like waving the white flag when they do miss fairways because the rough is so preposterous. And then the greens, I mean, we saw the greens. There's nowhere to hit it. The greens, like it doesn't feel like there's anywhere to hit it on the greens. They're going to be way firmer than when we played it. They're going to be faster. So yeah, it's going to be carnage out there. That's kind of the word that's being thrown around a little bit. Always is around a U.S. Open, but especially this week. And yeah, they're basically playing the course, from yardage wise that we played, and they're going to play it pretty damn well. But there'll be some high scores too because the rough's way harder. Like I said, the greens are harder, and this is, so I think they've had 10 USGA championships at Olympic. This will be the first time that they've had the U.S. Women's Open. So it means a lot to the women out there, just chatting with them about the fact that they get to play at Olympic. They've got Pine Needles, which is right next to Pinehurst next year. And then they've got Pebble Beach the year after that for the first time. They've never hosted the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach. So it's awesome. They're getting to play these iconic venues and get to kind of have their moments of taking a shot at, the biggest championship in women's golf at these iconic venues. So if you're not, prepared or planning for it, tune in. It's going to be prime time viewing too, because California, we're 3 hours behind out here right now. So, they'll be finishing up in prime time on the East Coast when you're, maybe you're in an intermission, or maybe your game's over, your team's finished up, or you're not, attached to any teams anymore. So man, prime time viewing this weekend, throw on the Women's US Open because it's going to be fucking awesome to watch.
I'm excited. Like I said, it's mind-blowing to me that, we think of, the average person will just think of women's golf as being like, well, they play at a shorter distance and, it's not comparable. I can't really relate to that. It's like, dude, you're playing from shorter at your local country club, and these girls are absolutely fucking smoking you. Like, that is going to be really good golf to watch. And it's more relatable to watch that as opposed to the men, because that is the yardage that we play from. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to watch them maneuver their ways around Olympic Club at championship levels. Like, when we watch these guys play Bethpage Black from 7,800 yards, it's a spectacle, and it's amazing. It's an athletic feat, but, like, it's something I can't even relate to. I don't even know what that means. I don't know. I can't base my game off that. You can base your game off of this. It's actually really fun to be able to do that.
Completely agree. And like the way that they and we even got to give them more credit. I'm looking at I'm looking at the average driving distance stats for the LPGA Tour this year. Anne Van Dam is averaging 291 yards off the tee this year. Like, yeah, think about that. Like, she's leading the LPGA, but like that is, I haven't hit a drive 291 all year. Like,
it's a joke.
I never have. I've never done that once.
They're
she
so
averages
skilled, it's a fucking joke.
And then you go down, I'm looking, let's pick like 40th, okay? 40th on the list is averaging 263.5 yards off the tee. So like
right down the middle.
and hitting it right down the middle. That's like how we play. If I hit a really good drive, I probably hit it 260, 270 or something like that. So you're right, Frankie, in that like you can actually now it's much more fun to watch in a way because you're seeing them pick apart a golf course from the same kind of being able to hit it relatively similar distances to the way that we hit it. If you go watch Bryson or Brooks or whoever hit it 340, that's like, okay, what are we playing, a fucking video game? Cool, good for you guys. But when you can watch them, yeah, there's a few of them that pipe it further than we can actually hit it, but it's within the realm of kind of how we hit it, and just distance wise, not purity wise, and they're a million times more accurate. So it is like, oh shit, they're just able to hit it, with the similar club head speed, except they're going to post amazing scores and we post horrific scores.
Yeah.
So that, that was one of the big takeaways too from the LTP when watching those girls, the college girls play, was like, dude, they were just hitting, like if they had 145, they're like hitting maybe a little 8-iron or like thinking about nuking a 9-iron, some of them. And it's like, oh shit, like that's pretty much what I do. So yeah, it's just going to be really fun to watch them play Olympic. They're going to be, in similar spots that we were in from a yardage standpoint. So I'm jacked up, man. It's major. It's the biggest week for them really that they have in their entire game. And they're doing it at this fucking golf course that overlooks Lake Merced and the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's just going to be iconic. It's going to be sweet.
How's the weather out there?
Yesterday was terrible when I got there. It was marine layer. So it was probably 52 degrees and just foggy and like cloudy and gloomy, June gloom the whole time. And I guess they're like, yeah, it's just going to kind of come and go, because earlier yesterday morning it was, 62 and sunny. And now it's, so I don't know. We'll see. It's weird too, because like we experienced, I'm over by the airport, staying probably 20 minutes away from the golf course, and it'll be beautiful here. You drive 15, 20 minutes and it's just fucking miserable over there.
California's weird in terms of weather.
Place.
I think I feel like growing up, you're like, oh, California is just 75 and sunny all the time everywhere. That is simply not the case.
California.
I feel like in a lot of places that aren't, Southern California, it's 55, 60, and sunny sometimes.
I picture someone driving with in a convertible down a street with a bunch of really high palm trees.
When you think of California?
Yep.
Same.
That's all I think about.
It has changed now because we've been there so much and are going out there again. But that was my original thought about California.
Met someone the other day at the Islanders watch party at Borelli's, and he goes, "Hey man, just got off the plane, just got back from Monterey Peninsula," and I was like, "Holy fuck, man, just the best place on earth, legitimately." It's like, yeah, we stayed right there, like right by Pebble Beach, and had lunch there at Pebble Beach, and overlooked the fucking whatever that is. And I know it's not the ocean right there, right?
Stillwater Cove.
Stillwater Cove. I got in a little.
You got caught.
I got caught there at the Dad Bod Classic lurch. That lurch really fucked me. I don't even know if we ever talked about that. But
what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, he wasn't there. Jesus. So we were at Spanish Bay. Was it Spanish Bay that day?
First day.
We were at Spanish Bay.
This was Spanish Bay, and we're playing with was his name Connor, the big fella. So Connor and Lurch, and this is the Dad Bod Classic, and we're at Spanish Bay, and I remember hearing exactly what I just went through 5 seconds ago. I remember doing that at Pebble Beach, being like, "Oh, what is that body of water right there?"
Oh,
and it's what again?
Stillwater Cove.
Stillwater Cove. So I mean, my brain's just horrible. So we're at Spanish Bay, and I remember saying, "So what's this body of water right here?" And I pointed out, right? And they go, "Oh, that's the fucking Pacific Ocean." And Connor, well, you were there.
I remember the argument afterwards at dinner.
So Connor goes, "Oh, that's the fucking ocean, dude," and he wouldn't let it go. I'm like, "Well, no, like, isn't this whole area of the coast like have little marinas and all these little areas? Like, I meant like, what's the name of that?" And he goes, "Well, no, that's actually just called the Pacific Ocean." And he kept saying that, and he kept going like, "Man, what's that water out there?" He goes, "Is that a lake? What's that lake out there? Is that a pond?" And it was starting to get mean. So, but yeah,
it's not the first time you've made like that mistake or gotten stuck like that.
I knew it was the Pacific Ocean.
Did you?
The way I worded it was incorrect, I guess. I said, "What's that water out there? What's that name? What's that called?" And they all go, "The Pacific."
That's tough.
It was tough.
I know what you mean, like, but broadly when you think about it, it's just like that's the ocean, man.
I know.
We're
Yeah,
right
and you
by
get
the
a
ocean.
couple. You get a couple drinks flowing. People aren't going to let that one go.
What's funny is the name of what I was pointing at actually has a name.
Yeah,
It's some sort of cove again, like like by that green, they call that a name. So I was kind of correct. Like there is some sort of name for what that body of water is.
right.
But yeah,
it'd be like pointing at a city, being like, "What is that?" And they'd be like, and then they give you the state. It's like,
right, you're like, yeah, right.
it's like, well, it's a little too broad. I'm looking for
Right.
the more specific part.
No, but yeah, that was a fun expense at fun time at Frankie's expense.
Always,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. The boys just having a good time laughing.
That guy
at
Connor's a
Frankie.
funny dude.
very funny.
He is. He's great. We got to talk about Spieth and Kokrak before we get to that. Shady Rays. So Shady Rays, they've just kind of figured out in the sunglasses game. They've really changed the game, and the way that they've done that, they essentially provide really awesome, high quality sunglasses, and they do not charge you a ridiculous amount. We've all been there before, where you go to try to get, oh, that's a cool pair of shades. Oh, it's like hundreds of dollars. Like, well, guess what? I'm probably going to lose these or step on them or break them or drop them in a lake if I'm down hanging out with John Tillery and living the life like Trent. So, Shady Rays.
So I will say I'm not normally a sunglasses guy, but I went to go film a video last week on the beach for like this commercial that we were doing, and I wore sunglasses in the video. I think I'm just a sunglasses guy now. It makes your life so much better.
Can you wear sunglasses with the glasses underneath? How's that?
That's always the point of contention, where the answer is yes, but it's not the most appealing looking thing. But like,
You
I don't
rip
give
those
a fuck.
things off. You got some more bifocals underneath there.
Right, like now we're dealing with a bunch of layers.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound very broad and stupid, but sunglasses are great and they work. And like when you're out at the beach and the sun is just beating down on you and you don't want to look up and get blinded, you just throw on a pair of Shady Rays and you're good to go.
Isn't it amazing that when you do wear sunglasses, you have that thought of like, how come I don't wear these all the time?
Yes.
Like my eyes would be so much healthier and just better. You're not getting headaches. Like you don't realize all the things you're doing to defeat the sun when you're just unprotected by sunglasses. You're squinting. You're trying to figure out.
Why do we squint? Why do we just not wear sunglasses all the time? Squinting is a pain in the ass. Your eyes, like your face hurts.
I think your
It's,
eyes
like,
are legit.
uncomfortable.
Your brain is legitimately telling your eyes that you need to be protected from the sun. Like there's too much light entering your brain and entering your eyes that you need to like squint and figure out how to survive. Like your body's trying to survive, and we just don't put on this protective layer all the time around our ears and around our that hang off our nose. That would just protect us from doing that.
The craziest thing about Shady Rays is the warranty. This is one of the strongest warranties in the game, in the eyewear game. Replacements of shades are lost or broken for any reason. It doesn't matter what happens. Drop in the ocean, leave them on a golf course, anything, they'll replace them. Try that with your high-price shades. See if they'll help you. They will not. Change the way you wear sunglasses. Join the team that has your back for life. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season exclusively for us. Use the code FORE for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pair for $48. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. Use the code FORE. You get 50% off 2 or more pair at shadyrays.com.
That Breaking 100 video is a fucking monster.
Yeah?
It's a fucking monster. So just to put in perspective, so our Cascada video on YouTube, we have all these stats in the back end, right? So our Cascada video has like 130,000 views. And through the first 15 hours of that video being live, it did about 37,000 views, right? And that ended up having 130,000, which we've always talked about. Anything over 100,000 on YouTube is a wildly successful video because you need to sit there and watch it for a minute to get one view. Like 30 seconds to a minute to get one view. As opposed to like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you just swipe over it, view. You swipe over it again, view. YouTube is legit.
Right.
Almost more legit than like watching TV, they're saying. Like it's fucking legit. Trent, compared to the 37,000 through the first 15 hours, has 100,000 views compared to the 37,000. So that's just on track. If you do the math, you're over 3 times. You're 3 times higher than that. That's like a 500,000 viewed video, like on track for. Now, I don't want to put a hex on that and just stop the viewage, but it's on track to just do very, very fucking well.
Well, and we knew when we were at the PGA Championship, like even like views, and obviously YouTube tracks all that stuff and we can see it. But even just talking to people were
Yes.
like, oh, when we can't wait to see it. Can't wait for that video to come out. You know, I'm trying to break 100 myself. I'm really looking forward to the video. You can tell that whether it's something people want to watch or not. And this is just one that people have been asking for a long time, and we finally did it. I'm very happy that lots of people are watching it. That makes me very happy. So it's, yeah, we're not going to stop. That's just the first episode. We're going to do many more.
It just checks so many boxes. Like the instruction aspect, I think, is underrated. People love instructional shit.
Right.
And then just like there's an actual storyline, like Trent just trying to break 100 has been a storyline for years. JT's the man. You're both like the two of you getting along extremely well is like endearing. It just checks so many boxes. So yeah, it's a monster break. That's why, again, Trent, that's why I, not in a malicious way, don't want you to break 100.
I understand what you're saying. I want to break 100 because I just want to have that personal goal achieved. But I understand what you guys are saying.
Breaking 100,000 views, you know what I'm
Ha,
saying, brother?
come on,
Let's
brother.
go.
I'll take
Let's
some of
go,
that.
dude.
I will say it is. I'm sometimes shocked how well John Tillery and I got along.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes you just meet people who you really get along with right away. And he was just one of those guys. And we really lucked out with that, because I could have just got some guy that we were aware of, and I went to his place and the vibes were off. Obviously the instructional stuff's going to be there. John Tillery is a whole other level, but people can teach you a new golf swing. But him and I, we just vibed and it worked. So it's that, along with all the instructional stuff, is just, I think it's perfect.
Can you believe people are just going to be able to watch you attempt to break 100 like the next video?
That's what's going on.
This is a fucking full-blown train to breaking 100. Like, there is no stopping now. Like, multiple attempts at breaking 100, back with John Tillery. Like, this is going to be a fucking monster. You can't break 100 yet. You can't. You're going to have to try.
I'm telling you that right now, I can't.
From a production standpoint, the plan is every single Thursday, basically until Trent breaks 100, we're going to have a full round with him. Frankie, Lurch, we might get some other Barstool people involved. But in theory, every single Thursday, 8 p.m., see if Trent's going to break 100 this week.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. It's never going to stop.
Shout out to
You're
everybody
never
who's
gonna break
watching.
100. I'm just kidding.
It has to happen.
Yeah, it
I don't
has
know
to.
when it's going to happen, but it's
Yeah.
hopefully going to happen.
I'm excited to be out there with you while you attempt it. Like, it's fun to be there. The vibes are good, and it's just like, can we do this? And if we can't, we go back to the drawing board. That's the beauty of this thing. If you can't do it, you're now going to be on screen with all these commenters who are always super nice and very.
They are very nice.
You
to
know,
me.
they're very nice.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be sarcastic.
I know.
But they actually are very nice.
They're nice to me, and I know
Right.
you meant it sarcastically,
Yeah.
but like they're very supportive.
But they'll be able to see like what you did wrong and like why you didn't break 100. Like, that's the beauty of this series now. Like, it's not just watching you play golf. They know what you've learned because we filmed it and we edited it and we put it out. And now they can now check you. You're being checked by hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
If you're not listening to John Tillery, if you were too quick on a backswing, if you didn't do the right course management, if you weren't reading the greens the way he told you to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're getting checked now in every single video, and they're gonna let you know about it.
For sure.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, Trent, why weren't you doing that thing that this guy told you to
Right.
do, who you trust? Like, why did you just do something different? That was dumb. And you're just going to have to own up to that. And, like, there's going to be moments. There's going to be huge moments that are going to be on film where Trent needs to hit this shot. Like, Trent is on the precipice of breaking history and breaking 100. And he's got this fucking bunker shot that this guy has been doomed for decades by giant pits of sand that people decided to put on golf courses. And Trent Ryan is going to stand there with all these techniques that he's been taught by John Tillery. And he's going to have to get that ball out of that bunker. And if he does it, everyone's going to go crazy. If he doesn't, people are going to cry with him. And then there's going to be putts and there's going to be tee shots, and they're just going to matter now. Like, there's going to be moments where you've done it so well for 15, 16, 17 holes. And it's like, come on, Trent, get us across the finish line here. And I mean, on a personal level, I hope you do it. On a business level, I hope you don't do it for a long time.
You just teleported me back to Aaron Hills with that, talking about bunkers, where I was in a greenside bunker on the 18th hole. Riggs almost fell backwards in his chair right there. That would have been incredible. Greenside bunker, and I had my guy Hanky Panky with me, and I hit the shot into the bunker, and he goes, "Oh, no big deal. You're in that greenside bunker." And I was like, "Buddy, we're not breaking 100 today. You don't understand what
Got
that
news
means."
for you, pal.
Yeah, you don't understand. Like, for most people, we can just get up and down and we should be good. And, we broke 100. Woohoo, we're having a good time. That you just teleported me right back to there. But you're right. There's going to be huge moments like that. We'll just have to see if I'm able to, step up to the challenge. Hopefully one day it happens,
Jordan Spieth, so he was leading by one shot going to the final round at Colonial last week. Really just was hitting it all over the map and did not play well in the final round. Jason Kokrak, who we've only talked to via a glass of wine kind of in the background with Pat Perez, just kind of went out and stole it. I mean, it got a little bit sloppy down the stretch there in the last 3 or 4 holes, but Kokrak pounds the ball. He's one of the better drivers of the golf ball all around in the world. And he just kind of went out there and got it done and took down Spieth.
Kokrak's got a great belly.
Really good.
One of the great bellies in golf. I feel like golf within the last couple decades have lost the belly guys because fitness has become such a thing, and that guys take very seriously. I don't know about Kokrak's fitness routine, but I like that there's still belly guys who are winning golf tournaments. Like, it's not always going to be the Brysons and the Brooks and the super jacked in shape guys that can win. Seeing a guy like Kokrak with the big belly holding a trophy makes me very happy.
Duff Daddy, one of the great belly guys of all time, really.
Incredible belly guy. John Daly, probably the greatest belly guy in the game of golf ever. But yeah, Duff's another great one. Belly guys, like, how many belly guys are there? There's not that many left that are consistently winning golf tournaments. Jason Kokrak.
What's his name? Fucking Harry Higgs.
Harry Higgs.
Harry Higgs is an up-and-coming belly.
Up-and-coming belly guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Phil used to be a belly guy, but now he's kind of fit. But he's, I don't know if
Patrick Reed.
You can't.
Yeah, he's a borderline.
He's more
belly
man
guy.
tits.
He's just stocky.
Patrick Reed's more man tits than he is belly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
He's got
his
thick
belly
arms.
doesn't pop. Duff stuck out to me because I feel like the rest of his body doesn't look that, like his chin a little bit, but then like his belly just sticks out. Like his tits don't stick out or anything. He just has like a 6-inch area where his belly just moves his shirt, right? Like when it changes the way your shirt falls.
If you want to talk about up-and-coming belly guys, you're hearing his voice right now. All right? There's a couple pictures from that watch party at the Allen game the other night where I was jumping up and the guy was taking photos, and we deleted them off every form of technology you could possibly
It's interesting that you said that. I think you've kept it together since the original fat face picture. I know you were riding the bike there for a little bit, but you haven't. You can go one of 2 ways there. You can become, or 3 ways. You can get super buff and never have a picture like that again. You can get really, really fat, and then now you are a belly guy. Or you're doing what you're doing, where you're just kind of maintaining it. Feels like you look you look skinny to me.
Yeah, but the belly's getting bad.
I see. Kokrak is a belly guy. He's Beef.
Remember Beef?
Yeah, Beef Johnson.
What the fuck's Beef doing?
I don't know.
I think Beef's still playing golf.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Kokrak is similar to Duffner, where I think if you cut him off at the chest, if you take a picture of him chest up, he looks pretty normal. But then you point the camera down a little bit, and there's a belly there.
Shane Lowry,
belly guy.
Yeah, major champion belly guy. Recent. Is he the reigning? He's the reigning Open champion.
He's been the Open champion for 5 years now. Yeah,
right. That's right.
It really feels that way. Can you believe
insane
that Shane Lowry is the last guy to win the Open Championship? That was the tournament where Rory off the first tee on Thursday just completely fucked the whole tournament up, and people were like, "Oh, that's too bad." That feels like that was 5 years ago.
Dude, that was crazy when Rory, there was all that anticipation, and Rory just snap hooked one out of bounds and made an 8 on the first hole. That was psychotic that happened.
Can we talk about a crazy stat regarding Jordan Spieth?
Yeah.
So, Jordan Spieth is now, we're talking about converting 54-hole leads. All right, this came from Justin Ray on Twitter. So when talking about
a good one, I'm excited for this.
Justin Ray is so good.
Converting a 54-hole lead, Jordan is now 10 for 20. Okay, 50% clip. Now you could say that's good or bad, but until I read these next numbers, you can make your own assessment.
Yeah, I need some context.
JT, DJ, and Rory are all between 50 and 60% converting over the last 10 years.
Those are good golfers.
Okay, so Jordan Spieth on par by converting 54-hole leads with JT, DJ, and Rory. Jordan Spieth in that category. Tour average over the last 10 seasons when leading, co-leading after 54 holes is just 35%.
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth, 15% over that.
Above average.
Above average. Tiger Woods, converting 54-hole leads in his career.
Give me that number.
55 for 59.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
There's blood rushing to my penis right now.
Holy fucking shit. When converting a 54-hole lead, he's 55 for 59. Tour average, 35%. Jordan Spieth, 50%. DJ, JT, Rory, TJ, whoever you want to fucking say, all the TJs.
That's the generation that came after.
50%. This guy's 55 for 59. Someone give me a percentage on that, please.
93.2%. That
fucking damn it.
Yeah, it's a high number.
Are you kidding me with this guy? This is what I mean, man. He makes the rest of golf feel just not that good.
Of course.
You know, you got the biggest names in golf. I just read them off. They're all way above tour average. 15%.
Right.
Some of them 20%. And Tiger looks at them and throws a 93 in their face. Go home. What are you doing here?
That's also right there. That's just 55 wins. You know?
Yep.
Like that in itself is,
and that's leading the whole fucking tournament.
Right.
That's
having
that's
after
wire to wire.
That's not wire to wire.
Well,
having it after.
Oh, sorry,
the third round.
sorry. After the third round. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's maybe wire to then wire.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Maybe wire. Yes. You were kind of had the wire, then you were really gripping it tight, and then you just kind of got it done.
Yes.
You're right. And then those are the numbers that are going to live on forever. Like with 200, 300 years from now, when we're all gone and everyone we know is gone, that got really dark, that those are the numbers that are going to stick out, where people they're almost not going to believe it. He has the type of numbers where people will look back and be like, something was going on there.
Stepping up there on Sunday and fucking winning 93% of the time is just batshit crazy.
Right.
It's just batshit crazy.
Just never letting those opportunities go.
Isn't that just isn't that demoralizing though for a guy like Spieth to read that? He's thrown away 10 of them. Is it thrown away? Is golf too hard to be able to say that?
I think if you're those guys, you take the positive that you're like, if I put myself in that position enough times, I'm going to win 50% of the time.
Right.
Which is good.
Well, tour average says that 35% of them win. So that's basically like being a baseball player where 3 out of 10 is actually Hall of Fame status. You know what I mean? So are we acting like 5 out of 10 on golf is Hall of Fame status? Being 50% being able to do that? 10 out of 20?
Being able to do it 50% of the time is impressive.
Right. That's the
very impressive.
I'm struggling on how to word it, but that is the threshold, right? That is the level that's unbelievable. Being able to convert 10 out of 20 times,
right? Considering
average is 30 to 35%.
Right. Those 3 or 4 guys that you named, those are the best. Right. The best players right now.
It also though gets tricky because it's not baseball. It's such a large sample size.
Okay.
You get to bat 4 or 5 times a game. You get 100 and something, 60 games. You get so many times at bat. How many times do you have a 54-hole lead in golf?
Right.
Pretty rare.
Once or twice a year, maybe for most guys. So it's so it definitely does get tricky. But yeah, if you were to take guys with at least 15, 54-hole leads tied for the lead or better, then you convert 50+% of the time. I would say that's kind of Hall of Fame stat. You're just a fucking closer. That is hard to do.
And it's clearly a worthwhile metric because the names that emerge when you give it that is those guys.
Right.
So it's that makes it an impressive statistic. And Tiger's just an alien.
And I assume he put those names out because they are also guys that have led with. He didn't say how many attempts they've had. He just put out their percentage. But when you talk about DJ, Rory, and JT, they've led after 54 holes.
I wonder what the what number you have to hit to be a part of that.
I would assume they all hit that number.
I would think so.
They've all been leading after 54 holes a decent amount.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If Spieth's done it 20, fucking Rory's done it a shit ton.
Another really impressive number. Do you know only 14% of men use sunscreen on both their face and other exposed skin when outside on a sunny day for more than an hour?
That's
14%.
That's such a low number.
Yikes. That's
shocking,
scary,
really. Well, Enter Oars and Alps. They have got you covered for all of your SPF needs. They've got a clear SPF Ghost Stick, an everyday SPF moisturizer, SPF 50 spray, and even an after sun cooling spray, which is awesome for those days when you get a lot of sun out on the course. Now, Oars and Alps, we talk about them for a long time because they crush the deodorant game. They're all natural. They don't have those bad ingredients in there that are bad for your skin and for your body. None of that. They do it natural, like it said, and then they have just for 4+ years they've been focused on the SPF game, on protecting your skin against the harmful rays of the sun, and doing it not in a gross manner. You know that sunscreen that you've been using out there that you put on and it's just it's bad for your skin. It's seeping in there. You know it's not going to make your skin healthy. It's not going to make your skin look good in the future. Oars and Alps has figured that out, and they have all kinds of good SPF products.
That I actually can't say enough about the post-sun cooling spray. Let's say hypothetically recently I forgot to put on sunscreen. Let's say that is a hypothetical situation that may have happened, and then you just have like this skin, and everybody knows that feeling where you're like, oh, I fucked up. I made a mistake. I didn't put enough on. I didn't reapply, and now I'm left with this burning skin. I hypothetically use that cooling spray. You just put it, you spray it all over, rub it in, and it's almost like nothing happened. It's a bit of a miracle worker where when you put that cooling spray on, I believe it's got aloe mixed in. It's got all that stuff that's good for your skin. And if you put it on immediately after a day where you didn't put enough sunscreen on, it is a miracle worker. And I cannot talk about it enough, honestly. It's great.
Foreplay listeners right now, it is really good. Can get a free pack of cooling and cleansing wipes. Also, they'll keep you fresh on the golf course. They're just really good to keep in the bag. When you buy any 2 SPF Oars and Alps products, you go to oarsanalps.com/Fore, visit, follow the instructions. And again, you're going to get a free pack of cooling and cleansing wipes. You just got to get 2 SPF products, which they're awesome. So you should get more than that. But go to oarsanalps.com/Fore. That's oarsanalps.com/Fore, Fore. Interesting little tidbit. So the LPGA match play last week was won by Allie Ewing. She is the wife of Charlie Ewing, who is the Mississippi State women's golf head coach, who we had on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
Look at that.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So his
No relation to
wife,
Patrick.
Still,
according to Charlie, no.
Still no relation to Patrick.
But like a week after the LTP, his wife at Shadow Creek wins the match play in the LPGA, and gets the W. So cool little connection there. I was chatting with the 2 of them yesterday for a while out here. And I mean, what a whirlwind, what a crazy couple of weeks just for that family and everything that's been going on. She's Mississippi State alum as well. So a ton of connections there, but big congrats to her. I was traveling from Denver, so I didn't get to watch a ton of it on Sunday. I know they played an outrageous amount of golf. I think she had to play 7 rounds of golf or something to win the match play, because you obviously got to go through so many different people and get it done. So an outrageous amount of golf that had to be played in the desert. I mean, they're in Vegas, so it's hot. It's like 100-something degrees, playing that much golf at such a high level and getting it done. So big congrats to Allie. Awesome win. And Charlie's the man. Really good dude. He was very, very much kind of my, I guess, head consultant, if you will, for just putting on the let them play and understanding what a college golf tournament looks like. So chatted with him a ton. He came on the podcast, obviously, so people got to hear from him. And then the family gets a win. I think it was on their anniversary, too.
Holy, what's happening?
Isn't that crazy?
That's just good vibes all around.
Isn't that crazy? I think it was literally their wedding anniversary was Sunday, and she won a golf tournament. So whole thing was really, really cool.
Let me ask you a question.
Ole Miss.
Are you, this is completely kind of off topic, but are you prepared for an Arizona summer?
Everybody's been chirping me about it. A couple things. One, no.
Okay.
2, I won't be there very often.
Okay.
I mean, we're on the road so much over the next 3 or 4 months that I won't have almost any extended time there. Like, I think between now and the end of July, I'll be there for like less than a week total, if you added up all the days.
Because I'm looking at, I just pulled up a Scottsdale forecast for the next week, and here are the highs. 105, 105, 106, 107, 105, 103, 100, 102. That's 7 days in a row where the high is triple digits.
So there was, I believe last summer, they said that they had 100 straight days where the high was over 115 degrees.
That's untenable, you would think.
So, yeah, I don't think you can really go outside and play much golf. Some people rave about that time of year because if you're just an average like common man, common woman golfer, the fees on the courses go down to like $30 and nobody's on the golf courses, so you can just go play really sweet courses all summer long.
But also your hospital fees for when you have too much heat and they have to take you in an ambulance, it probably offsets that.
They have to cool the pools there, right?
Yes.
They do. The other thing I would say is like I have air conditioning, so if it's I'll just kind of be inside most of the time, hopefully. But no, the general answer is I don't know what 115, 120 degrees is. I like what the fuck is that?
It's just daunting, is what it is. Just looking at that, and air conditioning, all that. But you're a golfer. You're a big time golfer, and so it's something you're gonna have to deal with.
How am I going to film these videos? I got to put out like 3 rigs verse videos a week, 5 daily night. If it's going to be 120 degrees, I'm not doing it.
And is the equipment able to stand that type of heat?
I don't know.
Is it
just going to melt? Like, is that metal? Will it just melt into a pool of melted metal? Is that what we're going to get? I don't know.
It's just so hot. I look forward to you attempting it and hearing the report on it, because that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's very nice. Memorial. So the Memorial is this weekend. We've got obviously Jack's place. The last time that they hosted it there, Jack was ripping up the golf course as they were finishing the golf tournament, which was a very bizarre thing when they were beginning the renovations on the front nine while guys were playing the golf course.
Yeah.
Well, now it's renovated and they changed almost every hole, I believe they said. Crazy move by Jack that he did. Like, you could just wait the next day, right? Like, it wouldn't. Like, he could have just waited the next day to rip up the court, because it's not like the golf course wasn't ready yesterday to host a PGA Tour event. Like, the extra day doesn't.
Yeah, that was a theatrics thing.
You think so?
That was Jack just being like, look at how much work we're about to put in. It's time to reinvent. The Golden Bear wanted to show,
It could be.
He wanted to show that he's like edgy, and they were ripping up the greens as they were finishing up.
Rolling up those fairways.
Are you guys frozen?
Are we?
All right, we had Frankie, and you guys froze. The internet sucks. Why does the internet suck so much? Any ideas?
No, it's a mystery. You know what's funny is that I'm always on the internet here at the office, like my laptop is, and so is my cell phone. And that always works fine. But then when you try to do a podcast, I don't know if it uses more bandwidth. That's a word I'm going to use that I don't totally know what it means. Like, I don't know if it just uses more, so it doesn't work. But I mean, that's the Barstool difference. I know we say that all the time, but this place not having internet is truly the Barstool difference.
I would like to learn more about bandwidth. What is that? That just it's just using more internet at the time. What is that?
Does bandwidth have anything to do with the when like a company like Apple or Google will buy big pieces of land in the Midwest? Like if you drive, they have like all those servers out in the middle of nowhere. Does that have something to do with bandwidth? I feel like it might.
Interesting. I feel like that has to do with storage of data. Where they put those giant servers, they store data on those things. I feel like bandwidth is more like in real time, like the capabilities of your internet provider, and bandwidth is almost like an allowance, like a certain amount of allowance of like internet for you guys for that day. So I feel like our office, for example, would need an amazing amount of bandwidth because we have so many people, plugging into the internet, whereas the bandwidth in like my apartment wouldn't need to be that high because it's just rigs doing the internet stuff.
Yeah, it must have something to do with how many people are using it. It's like, because as the day goes on, the internet seems to get worse, which makes sense because more people start coming in. I don't know. It's like a stadium where the Wi-Fi in a stadium is always terrible because there's 50,000 people trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, but there's, at max 300 people here, and that's at the very most, and there's never that many people here. So I don't know. You would think At a place like this, you would want the most expensive and the largest amount of bandwidth you can get, but I'm not sure if that's how we're operating.
Yeah, because we are an internet company.
Correct. I mean, not exclusively anymore, where we got our hands in a lot of things, but the thing we use the most, I would say, is still the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue too. I mean, it's even like our merch we sell on the internet, our podcasts we upload to the internet, our videos we put on the internet.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the Barstool Classic. That's not on the internet, but the signups are most certainly on the internet.
True, and a lot of the footage is on the internet, but the actual occurrence of it is in real life on golf courses.
Right, because I think early on, like when I first got hired at Barstool, it was all internet. It was all blogs. It was all Twitter. Instagram was starting to become a thing. Now we've diversified our portfolio as a company so much that it's not all on the internet, but the root and the core and the heart of this place is on the internet.
You think you ever get to a point in your life where you actually diversify your portfolio?
Knowing myself, no. Just like, no.
Because that's like a big time real adult thing.
Right. Like when I think about people diversifying their portfolio, I immediately start to think about 401ks and IRAs, and those are just words and letters and numbers that I really don't mess around with.
Oh man, yeah, those are things. Agreed. Those are things you basically laughed at as nothing that would ever be relevant to your life or decision making under any circumstances, and now I'm wondering if they will be.
Right, and I'm like looking at my future. I'm gonna be the type of guy who is gonna just stubbornly and for really no reason at all just completely reject those ideas, and then one day when I'm 50 or 55, I'm just gonna be sitting in a studio apartment being like, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, man, we could have diversified our portfolio 30 years ago. It would have been sweet. That would have put us in a really good spot.
Like I own SafeMoon. That's how diverse my portfolio is.
How do you feel about your ownership of SafeMoon?
Again, I don't know a ton about all this stuff. I just kind of follow the trends, but crypto doesn't seem to be doing great. If I'm reading the internet and Twitter correctly, my SafeMoon's not doing fantastic, but it's always, it seems like it's never doing good until it's doing really good. And then, I'm going to buy a yacht. That's my 401k. That's diversifying my portfolio.
I do laugh at I think that people that get into crypto, if you buy like a stock and you have a year where you go up 30, 40%, you're like, oh my God, we crushed it. Anybody that gets into crypto, I think that they think they're just going to become a billionaire. Like, no, I'm going to put a couple $100 in or a couple grand in and I'm going to become a billionaire. It's going to be awesome.
I am living proof of what you're describing. But also what I think is funny, like when all this crypto stuff is happening, I think it's funny when other people who own other cryptos that isn't the crypto that you own talk shit about your crypto. When it's like, this is all bullshit. Yeah, I want everybody to know that. We're all just buying into bullshit and hoping that it explodes like Dogecoin did.
Is crypto all the same? Is Jake Bass a big crypto guy? I feel like he could be a big crypto guy.
I don't know if he's a big crypto guy, but I feel like the corner that his desk is in, I think that's a big crypto area of the office. So I feel like if he picked up something, it might have been through osmosis.
Yeah, I sit next to like Quigs and them. I'm firmly only on Bitcoin and Ethereum, like the stuff that you can actually like tangibly buy things with. I'm not really in on the Doge SafeMoon stuff. I would like to be on SafeMoon, but I just didn't know how to buy it. But I mean, I'm like the king of bullshit and just like bullshitting my way through a lot of things, and I couldn't tell you the first thing about Bitcoin.
I will say part of the reason why I bought SafeMoon is that I wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah.
I feel like that was something the office kind of got behind, and we all just kind of wanted to own SafeMoon. And on the off chance that it went up to close to a cent, and then we all just have a lot of money. But it is also fun. Like the memes are fun, the tweets are fun, all that stuff is fun. But I do wish SafeMoon was doing a little bit better. I will say that.
Yeah, Ethereum was one that I got in on back in the day. I put a few grand. I think I lost like 50% of it over the course of a couple months and just panicked and sold it. And now, I don't know what Ethereum's at now, but when I checked a month or two ago, it was at like a laughable multiple of the number that I sold it at. So I don't love to talk about that crypto situation, but
Right. So right now I'm in that position where like I bought a bunch of Safe Moon and right now we're like a month into it and it's not doing that well. So right now I want to sell that fucker. I want to sell it off and just take my, cut my losses. But then I feel like I'm going to be in a situation where you are in a year where if I had just kept it and not thought about it and not thought about that money that I put into it, then it's just hopefully going to be up by a large percentage. So I'm going to hold on to it. That's my plan.
yeah, I'm trying to look at Ethereum, like the history of Ethereum right now, because it's gotten up. I mean, I want to say I had it under $100, and it's hit a high of like $1,405 before. So
Yeah, the peak is about $4,200 in May of this year.
Yeah.
fuck you, Jake.
And Bitcoin was the same way. I remember, 5 years ago, Nate Dogg, who we work with, was saying everyone buy as much Bitcoin as you can get. And even I think 5 years ago, he was late. Like he was already
Right.
late. He was listening to people who had bought it 5 years before that. So we're talking 10 years ago who got it for nothing. And now I think it's we're $60,000 of Bitcoin. Oh, it's down. So it's 38,000 now. So it obviously fluctuates a lot. But if you had bought it, 10 years ago, just put a little bit of money into it, you have a substantial amount of money now.
Man, I can't tell you this fucking Ethereum. I'm looking at this $2,784 right now. And I want to say that in 2018, when I was involved in the little Ethereum situation, and it was at like less than 1,000. So way less than that. No, it was lower than that. Look at this shit. Yeah, it was in the hundreds. It was in like the low hundreds when I had it, Trent Daddy.
Right.
So man, is that a big difference? Boy, that could be you. That could be you. That's like
Right. And like I said, I've mentally forgotten about that money. So whatever it does, it does. If it goes down, okay. But if it goes way up, then I'm just like, oh, we're living, and I'm gonna name my yacht Safe Moon.
that is the way to do it. Yeah, I hope I get to ride on Safe Moon at some point when you're like, you're averaging 75 on the golf course and you're
Right.
on your Safe Moon yacht, and everybody's just kind of, oh wow, it worked out from that podcast that they did on June fucking 3rd, 2021.
Foreplay does crypto. I never saw that coming.
I might get in the crypto game, mostly because, like you said, I just want to be a part of something. And currently, every time I read about it, I have an adverse reaction because I'm not in it. And I'm like, oh, these losers that are in the crypto game. But all it would take would be a really small investment, and then I would just be a crypto guy, I think.
Right, it is cool because there's a bunch of people in the office who are in on Safe Moon, and you have the app, and you can just pull it up, and you look if it's up or if it's down, and it's a conversation starter, and you feel like you got some skin in the game with your coworkers, and that's the like they say, it's about the friends you made along the way, and that's kind of how I've approached my crypto involvement.
I like it. I'm going to get in on crypto. I'm going to keep you posted. I might do Safe Moon.
Okay.
So we were talking about the internet earlier, obviously, and then it reminded me, we can't even do the podcast really with internet. It's so poor. But like the first time we ever synced up with Cisco Webex, they were able to connect at the LTP all kinds of collegiate seniors with their families across the world, and how just stunningly impressive that technology is. So I want to thank Cisco. I mean, it's not the first time they've done something like that. If you remember when Bryson finished up last year at Wingfoot, you remember Islam Kim speaking of the U.S. Women's Open with her family after she won last year, all over WebEx. So Cisco is no joke. They are just dominating the technology. I'm actually about to go here in a few hours. I'm going to go hit a tee shot on the 6th hole at Olympic Club on a 4D camera. So
Yeah, you had mentioned that to me earlier, and this is a Cisco production. What does 4D mean?
I'm familiar with 3 dimensions.
Me too.
I can kind of grasp that. Once you get to 4, it's a little bit above my pay grade. It's a little kind of beyond my cognitive ability, I think. But, it sounds like Cisco is basically involved in, the technology app around accessing all of these different swings that you're going to be able to view during the U.S. Women's Open and during the U.S. Open of the best players in the world's swings through the 4D setup, and the 4D and the cameras and all that is like camera people, and then Cisco is behind where we're going to be able to just pull up at any moment. Like, oh, this person's leading the U.S. Women's Open. I want to be able to just look at her swing in 4D, and you can pull that up via their app and their technology. You'll be able to do that apparently with Riggs's swing here, which I imagine folks will love and be very positive about on the internet.
No doubt about it. People are going to love that.
Yeah, they're going to be really pumped about that. And then I think we're all going to do it at Torrey Pines. So I think every one of us, hopefully your John Tillery version of your swing shows up that day for, the 4D camera shoot.
I think it will. I've buried my other swing. I've put it 6 feet underground. Hopefully it doesn't rise from the dead like a zombie at any point. I feel like it does throughout the round every once in a while, but when we are using the Cisco 4D swing camera, I'm going to make a point to have it be my John Tillery swing because that's going to look sweet.
Good. Well, look, we should be excited to focus on the U.S. Women's Open this week and especially check out those golf swings thanks to Cisco. We use Webex. Webex is great. So big thanks to Cisco whipping up that technology, making it cool. So even if you can't be out at Olympic, you can feel like you're there. You can see the swings in more dimensions than you can see in real life, which is something I still can't comprehend. And other than that, we got big golf this weekend. We got the Memorial. We got the U.S. Women's Open. A few weeks, we'll be out at the U.S. Open, the Men's Open at Torrey Pines. There's just a lot of hot action going on with golf. And I think, Trent Daddy, that's all I got. Somehow throughout this podcast, we started down one man and we ended up down two men. And now it's just a couple guys, talking crypto, finishing up a golf podcast.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up nicely. We've been on kind of a roll this podcast, just with everything. LTP, PGA Championship at Kiowa, Break-In 100. Now you're at the U.S. Women's Open. We're going to be out at Torrey. It's just full steam ahead with this crew. We're just in a nice zone right now.
This is our busy time of the year, man. We're all over the fucking place. We're not, it's just going to keep going. We just, like I said, like when you asked me about being in Scottsdale, I was like, I don't think I'm going to really be in Scottsdale. Even when I am, it's going to be 110 degrees. But most of the time, I'm just not there. So yeah, we just keep rolling along.
Let's do this. So we are on the verge of 150,000 YouTube subscribers. We hit it?
Yeah, we hit it this morning.
Let's pretend that we didn't hit it this morning.
Smart.
So we potentially are at 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, but we want to go to 200, 250, a million, a billion. We want as many YouTube subscribers as we can get. And we haven't done the name game in a while. And I'm going to throw it to you first, Riggs, because I had not thought of a name before I decided to bring up this idea.
What an asshole move that is, by the way. To bring it up and then throw it to me.
I'm talking right now, and I'm hoping that you are actively trying to think of a name.
I've got one.
That you can have them subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I've got one.
Okay.
And again, we don't have a cross-reference list of names that we have or have not done either, because we would be too prepared to do that, and we're not a huge prepared crew. But I'm going to go Craig. Have we done the name Craig?
I don't think so.
Well, I spent a lot of the day yesterday with our very good friend Craig Annis at the United States Golf Association. I keep introducing him whenever we meet people that I don't think he knows as Craig from the association, just because I think it kind of sounds preposterous and maybe rattles him a little bit. So if your name's Craig out there, you've probably been confused with Greg. People have probably been calling you Greg for a long time because Greg's a little bit stronger, right? It's a little bit more of like those sounds are stronger and more clear than Craig. Craig's a little softer. Now you have a chance, Craig, to subscribe to the Foreplay Golf YouTube channel and be fed content nonstop, really good golf videos that are getting hundreds of thousands of views, from Trent breaking 100 to us doing 4-man scrambles to behind the greens to LTP recaps to Barstool Classic. At one point, myself and Kevin Kisner are going to try to qualify for the Barstool Classic Championship later this year. Those videos are all going on our YouTube channel, so you don't want to miss it. Taylor made us playing rounds, holes of golf with Dustin Johnson and with Colin Morikawa, the best players in the world. So, Craig, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
I'm going to go with Dylan. Again, I don't know. We don't have a list, so we may have said Dylan before. And if we said it before and you didn't subscribe that time around, now you're doing it this time. Dylan, you don't run into as many Dylans anymore. I feel like growing up, I knew a bunch of Dylans, and I just haven't seen them, whether it's Dylan or Dillion. Although I don't know if people's first names are spelled the latter way. It's normally Dylan. But anyway, you are now
the other way. I prefer Dillon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either one, Dylan or Dylan. If your name is Dylan, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, I don't know as many Dylans anymore, so you are part of an elite group, the Dylans of the world. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel for Foreplay, please do so for all of the reasons that Riggs listed off. Tons of good videos on there that are already on there, more videos coming, all of that stuff. So if your name is Dylan, please subscribe to the Foreplay YouTube channel. Thank you.
All right, Trent Daddy, I think that's all we got. Hopefully thousands of people subscribe to our YouTube channel and they enjoy the golf this weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday to recap all of it. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.